Okay, now it is time to look at finding the perimeter and area of a couple of different polygons. We will definitely look at more different types as the year goes on, but the three kind of most basic types of polygons that we look at in geometry are the triangle, the square, and the rectangle. We're going to be finding the perimeter and the area of those shapes. If you're not aware, the perimeter is the distance along the outside of the shape. Think of it as if you were trying to build a fence around the shape. You would want to know how long you need to go around this shape. The area is how much stuff is inside of the shape. So kind of think of it as if you were trying to mow the lawn and you wanted to know how much area, how much space you wanted to mow, or you needed to mow. That would be the area. So we're going to be finding the perimeter and the area of these different polygons. And we have these formulas here. The first one says that the perimeter for a triangle is A plus B plus C. And if you look at this diagram, it shows us that A, B, and C are the different side lengths of the triangle. And so in order to find the perimeter of a triangle, you need to add the three side lengths together, A plus B plus C. For the area, you need to take the base, so that would be this side, but you can pick any side, but pick one side as the base, and then you need the height. Now the height is the distance from the base, so whichever side you choose, to the opposite point. So it's this length in here. The distance from the base that you choose to this opposite point. And you take half of that in order to find the area of the triangle. Now for a square, for a perimeter, all of these sides are the same, since that's what a square means. And so in order to find the perimeter, you actually only need one side. Because these sides, as these tick marks show, are all congruent. So once you found this side, you've also found the rest of the sides. They would all be the same. So for that reason, the perimeter of a square is going to be 4 times that one side. And then for the area of the square, you just need to take the side squared. So the side times a side. Because once again, once you found one of the sides, you've essentially found all of the sides. Because it is a square, all of the sides will be the same. So for the area of a square, you're going to take the side squared, or the side times the side. Now a rectangle is pretty similar to a square, except for it has two different pairs of congruent sides. And so these lengths will be the same, and these widths will be the same, but you do have two different distances. One distance is the length, and one distance is the width. So for the perimeter, you need to find the length and the width, and multiply both of them by 2. Because on this rectangle, you would have 2 widths and 2 lengths. So for the perimeter, to find out how long your fence would need to be to go along this, you would need to do 1 2 widths and 1 2 lengths. So the perimeter is 2 lengths and 2 widths here. The area, very similar to the square, instead of taking a side times a side, so side squared, you're going to take the length times the width. And again, you only need to find one length and one width, and then you just multiply those two together. So for these exercises, we have some points that we need to graph, and then we're going to find the area and the perimeter. First off, we have this triangle ABC with vertices A at -2, 3. So let's go ahead and plot that point, A at -2, 3. And then we have the point B at 3, -3. So I'll go ahead and plot that point as well. And then the point C at -2, -3. So that's that point C. And remember, from our connect the dot, you want to start at the first one, so from A, and go to our second one, which is B. So we're going to go from A to B, draw that in, and then we go from B to C. We'll draw that in. And then for these polygons, to close them off, we need to draw the last side. So even though it's not listed A, B, C, and then back to A, you do finish out this last side in order to close up that shape. So there's that triangle ABC. Now we know that we need to find the perimeter of ABC, and so that means to find the perimeter of this triangle, we need to find A, B, and C, where A, B, and C are those side lengths. So let's just call the length between A and C to be side A, the length between C and B to be side B, and the length between A and B to be side C. If you look at the graph, it's actually pretty easy to find out the length of AC, the distance between A and C. We can just count the spaces between them. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the distance between A and C, remember that's what this means. If you just write those 2 points without anything above them, that's the distance between A and C. That is 6. So A equals 6. Distance between C and B is also pretty simple. We can count those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The distance between C and B is 5. And therefore B, that side length B, is going to be equal to 5. And between A and B, that one's a little bit harder. Because we see how this line segment between A and B doesn't follow exactly these horizontal and vertical lines. So we can't just count spaces between A and B. What we need to use is what you all learned yesterday in class, which is the distance formula. So in order to find the distance between A and B, we need to use the distance formula with those 2 points. The point A is -2, 3. The point B is 3, -3. And if we remember the distance formula, that is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then we take the square root of all of that. So the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Let's use this first point A as our x1 and y1, and the second point B as our x2 and y2. So if I substitute these into that formula, this would give me the square root of 3 minus -2 squared. That's substituting in 3 for that x2 and -2 for the x1. 3 minus -2 squared plus -3 minus 3 squared. And that's that y2 of -3, and then y1 of 3. You get -3 minus 3 squared. Okay, if we simplify 3 minus -2, 3 minus a -2 would simplify to a positive 5. So we would take 5 squared, and then -3 minus 3. That would simplify to a -6. So we have the square root of 5 squared plus 6, or plus -6 squared. 5 squared is 25. -6 squared is 36. And so we would take the square root of 25 plus 36. 25 plus 36 is 61. We're going to take the square root of 61. And if we put this into our calculators, we should find that the square root of 61 is about 7.81. So AB, the distance between A and B, is going to be about 7.81. And now we have all three lengths that we can use to find that perimeter. We have that A is equal to 6. So A, that's equal to 6. B is equal to 5. And C, we're going to say is equal to 7.81. Though there are three side lengths, our perimeter is going to be those three things added up to each other. So if we have 6 plus 5 plus 7.81, our perimeter of our triangle ABC is going to be equal to 18.81. And for the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. I'm going to choose this CB as the base, and so that's going to become my length for B. So the area will be equal to 1/2. I'm going to substitute in 5 for that base. And then the height is the distance from this length to the opposite point. This is easy to count because this line segment AC lies on this vertical line. It's actually going to just be this distance of side A. The height of this triangle from this base to this point is just that side length A. And so that's going to be 6. The area is going to be equal to 1/2 times 5 times 6. We can simplify this to the area is equal to 1/2, and then 5 times 6 is 30. 1/2 times 30 would be 15. And so the area of triangle ABC would be equal to 15. Now I'm going to have you work on part B on your own, but key things to note there is, first off, there is a typo here. You do have a rectangle in part B, like it says here, not a square like it says at the bottom. So please cross that out and change it to a rectangle. And then since this is a rectangle, in order to find the perimeter, you need to find the length and the width and multiply them times 2. So after you've graphed these points, you need to find the length and the width, multiply them both times 2, and add them together. For the area of that rectangle, you need to multiply the length times the width. So go ahead and plot those 4 points on this graph, and then draw the lines in between them, and then you can pick either length and either width to find the distance of, and then substitute those into those formulas. Once you have done that, show the substitute that you have completed this problem, and they will give you the homework that will be due tomorrow. Thanks for your good work today and for being willing to learn over these videos. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in class again tomorrow. Good luck.